Welcome back to Amazing Archaeology, where the past keeps refusing to stay buried. This week, we're diving deep, literally, into a lost Bronze Age village hidden beneath an Italian lake, and unearthing everything from Roman treasures to ancient tombs and long-forgotten queens. If you love stories that rise from the mud of history, make sure you subscribe, give us a like, and share this dig with your fellow time travelers. Because history doesn't repeat itself here. It resurfaces. Beneath the still waters of Italy's Lake Mezzano lies the ghost of a Bronze Age village, and for the first time in 3,000 years, archaeologists have mapped its bones. Diving into the volcanic lake, researchers uncovered more than 600 wooden posts that once supported stilt houses, along with bronze tools, jewelry, and weapons still glinting under layers of clay. The settlement dates between 1700 and 1150 BCE, a time when villagers lived literally on the water, building their homes above shifting depths and volcanic soil. What makes the site even more haunting is the evidence of fire. Some of the recovered bronzes show burn marks, as if the village had gone up in flames before sinking beneath the waves. The team even found ingots and casting materials, suggesting metalworking workshops operated right on the lake. Each post, each fragment tells of a community that adapted to instability until nature, or disaster, swallowed it whole. For now, Lake Mezzano keeps its final secret, how a world of wood and bronze vanished into the deep. In the ancient city of Gyeongju, South Korea, archaeologists have unearthed a tomb that rewrites what we thought we knew about the Silla dynasty, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Beneath the grand resting place of a 5th century general, researchers found another, older chamber containing the remains of a man who may have been buried alive. The body was discovered in a cramped space, barely large enough to hold him. His legs were splayed awkwardly, but he was surrounded by armor, horse gear, and a gold-bronze crown. Experts believe this may be the first confirmed example of sunjang, the chilling practice of interring servants or subordinates with their masters. The skeleton's posture and the evidence of hurried placement suggest a man forced into position after the grave goods were arranged. The tomb also held one of the oldest Silla crowns ever found, richly decorated in a style linked to both the Goguryeo kingdom and early Chinese influences. Together, they reveal a society teetering between power, ritual, and cruelty, one that buried not only its dead, but its secrets. High in the Northumberland Hills, at Birmingham Fort in England, the Roman frontier is stirring again. After 5 years of excavation, this season's dig turned out to be the richest yet, a record-breaking haul of jewelry, pottery, and military gear, all unearthed by volunteers and archaeology students. Among the finds were 2 exquisite intaglios, carved gemstones once set into signet rings. One shows Cupids picking grapes beside a goat, a design thought unique in Britain, but familiar in the art of northern Italy and Dalmatia, hinting that its owner may have come from the Mediterranean. The discoveries tell of a garrison that wasn't just surviving on the edge of empire, but thriving. Fine amphora, brooches, and perfume bottles show that luxury traveled even to this windswept outpost. What began as a Roman military installation now looks like it became more like a small, bustling town, a community of soldiers, traders, and families. Each year, the earth at Birmingham yields a little more proof that Rome's reach stretched not just across continents, but into every corner of daily life. In the quiet fields of Norfolk, which is also in England, a metal detectorist's discovery has turned out to be a Bronze Age puzzle no one quite knows how to solve. Buried near Durham, a hoard of broken tools and weapons dating to around 950 to 800 BCE has revealed something extraordinarily rare: 3 solid lead ingots. While lead was used in tiny amounts to perfect the recipe for bronze, it was almost never cast on its own, and certainly not in neat rectangular blocks like these. Archaeologists suspect the hoard was buried by a smith, perhaps a traveling metalworker, planning to melt it all down later. But the purpose of the lead remains a mystery. It might have been stock for alloying, or possibly a specialized trade material, hinting that this patch of Norfolk was a Bronze Age craft hub. One curator even suggested it could mark a trading post linked to the North Sea. Whatever its role, the find is rewriting our sense of prehistoric innovation. These modest gray bars might not shine like gold, but they show the ingenuity that forged a civilization. On a sun-baked hill in Turkey's Şanlıurfa, archaeologists have uncovered a mosaic floor shimmering with the faith and artistry of the 5th century CE. Hidden within the upper citadel, the floor is made from black, white, and red tesserae, arranged into swirling animal and botanical motifs. In one corner sits a medallion showing the 4 elements: air, water, earth, and fire, a cosmic symbol that may have once appeared in every corner of the room. Nearby, a Greek inscription invokes blessings upon Count Anakas and his family, naming bishops and priests who likely sponsored the building. The site appears to have been a small church or shrine, and burials found nearby suggest religious officials were interred within its walls. What makes the discovery so striking is its fusion of beauty and devotion, a glimpse of late antiquity when theology and art were inseparable. Archaeologists believe the structure's sponsors wanted to leave a mark not only on stone, but on eternity. 1,500 years later, that mosaic still remembers their names beneath the dust of Urfa. Every so often, history hides itself in plain sight. A carved oak panel sold at auction as a Victorian wood decoration has turned out to be the only surviving wooden sculpture of Cardinal Thomas Wolsey's coat of arms made during his lifetime. Dendrochronology revealed the Baltic oak was felled around 1520 when Wolsey, Henry VIII's trusted advisor turned fallen favorite, was at the height of his power. The carving's rich heraldry shows a silver cross with blue leopards' faces, a Tudor rose, and 2 black chos, symbolizing his namesake, St. Thomas Becket. Its craftsmanship is exquisite, griffins rear at either side, clutching the cardinal's red hat with their claws. The panel may once have hung in a grand house, perhaps even that of Thomas Cromwell, Wolsey's ambitious protege, who later replaced him. After centuries hidden in private hands, the piece resurfaced only this year, fetching £13,000 at auction before experts identified its true age and significance. It's a rare survivor from the political theater of Tudor England, a fragment of ambition carved in oak and somehow spared the king's fury. Deep in the jungles of Mexico's Yucatán, a new monument has revealed the name of a forgotten ruler, Ixchachin, the 6th century queen who once ruled the great Maya city of Coba. The discovery, carved into a limestone foundation rock near a sacred water reservoir, confirms that this queen wasn't a ceremonial figurehead, but a true political powerhouse. Her name appears beside grand titles, gods, and events, including the founding of a military office and the completion of a sacred time cycle in 573 CE. Her inscriptions link Coba to distant Maya dynasties and gods like Coil, showing that female leadership was woven into the divine order itself. Ixchachin ruled through ritual, diplomacy, and myth, her reign connecting heaven, earth, and empire. The monument also suggests Coba was part of a vast political network stretching across the Maya world. In a culture famed for its kings, this rediscovered queen stands out, a ruler who balanced cosmic duty with earthly power, ensuring her story, carved in stone, would outlast the jungle that swallowed her city. Sometimes, a single volcano can shake more than the earth beneath it. It can rattle history itself. A new study has rewritten the timeline of the Minoan eruption of Thera, better known today as Santorini, one of the most powerful volcanic explosions in human history. For decades, scholars tied the event to Egypt's 18th dynasty, around 1500 BCE, using it as an anchor for synchronizing the Bronze Age world. But new radiocarbon dating of Egyptian artifacts, from a royal mud brick to a burial cloth, suggests the eruption actually happened earlier, during Egypt's second intermediate period. That shift may sound small, but it unpicks the stitching of ancient chronology. It means the Tempus Stella of Pharaoh Ahmose, long thought to describe fallout from Thera, was probably unrelated. Instead, the new data points to a time when Egypt was fragmented and the Aegeans still evolving independently. The eruption that buried Akrotiri and reshaped the Aegean now looks even older, an apocalyptic prelude to the rise of the pharaohs, not a byproduct of it. History, once again, proves to be less certain than the ash that preserves it. In the Polish countryside of Borkowo, a gas pipeline project has accidentally uncovered something far older than industry, a 10th century cemetery holding the remains of 24 people, likely the defenders of a nearby medieval stronghold. Their graves contained weapons, glass beads, and temple rings, and their skeletons showed strength and stature, the hallmarks of warriors. One had healed rib fractures, others bore the scars of a hard life lived in service. Archaeologists believe these were garrison soldiers, perhaps mercenaries, buried near the place they protected in life. What makes the discovery especially haunting is the layout. Instead of the neat Christian rows common to later cemeteries, these burials appear scattered and irregular, a culture caught between pagan tradition and a newly arrived faith. Among the grave goods were blue glass beads and carnelian from hundreds of miles away, proof of trade routes and prestige. In a sense, Borkowo's dead stand at the threshold of two worlds, one ancient, one Christian. Their resting place captures a moment of transition, when belief, power, and identity were still being fought for in the soil of Europe. Our final story takes us to Germany, where guilt, time, and archaeology have collided in one extraordinary confession. 8 years ago, a young metal detectorist named Janek Pauli struck silver, literally, unearthing around 450 Roman denarii, some silver bars, a gold coin, and a ring near Hildesheim in Lower Saxony. But instead of reporting the hoard, he took it home and hid it, fearing legal trouble for detecting without a permit. For nearly a decade, the treasure sat in a wooden box until earlier this year, Pauli turned himself in and handed it over. By then, the statute of limitations had expired, sparing him prosecution, but leaving archaeologists with an ethical riddle. The hoard, now known as the Borsum treasure, is one of the largest Roman coin finds in the region and could reveal whether it was buried by soldiers or local tribes during conflict. For Pauli, redemption meant giving history back its voice. For the rest of us, it's a reminder that archaeology isn't just about the past, it's about the choices we make in the present to preserve it. From lost villages and royal tombs to coins that were stolen and returned, this week's discoveries prove that history is never finished. It just waits for us to dig a little deeper. Every shard, skeleton, and symbol adds another line to the world's oldest story, and we're here each week to tell it. So if you enjoyed the journey, give this video a like, share it with a fellow history hunter, and subscribe so you don't miss next week's adventure. Until then, keep your curiosity sharp, because the next great discovery might be right beneath your feet.